Day 41. We are talking about now Baruch Sheman and Pesuke Dezimra. The Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. Okay, page 125. Yeah? The Gemara Masechet Shabbat Daf Kuf Yudchet Amud Bet says, Rabbi Yosef, Omer, Yehe Chelki, right? He says over here, I hope that my portion will be equal to those who complete Hallel every single day. So, what does that mean? I want that I should be able to finish Hallel every single day. Right? The Gemara says, one second, how could that be? Because it says anybody that says Hallel every single day is blasphemy. Right? So, you're going to come and you're going to say Hallel every single day. What is that? You can't do that. And the Gemara comes and he says, no. Rabbi Yosef was not actually referring to the group of the Psalms we call Hallel. We're not talking about Hallel of the, the Kuf Yud Gimel. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. He comes and he says he was referring to those that make up Pesuke Dezimra. Meaning, the Pesuke Dezimra are Hallel. They're praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What did Rabbi Yosef mean when Rabbi Yosef said, my portion, Yechelki? So the Maharsha explains that those words refer to the portion in Olam Haba. Rabbi Yosef saw that many people did not, right? They says it's not very important to fulfill the mitzvah of saying the Pesuke Dezimra. So Rabbi Yosef came and he declared that his portion of the world to come depended upon the fact that every single day he would say Pesuke Dezimra. זאת אומרת, למה יש לו עולם הבא? Pesuke Dezimra. That's it. Pesuke Dezimra. Now, by doing that, he was showing the people the importance of Pesuke Dezimra, umimelo what? And therefore, people are going to actually do the same Pesuke Dezimra the way that it is. Right? There was actually a very famous Or Zarua. I don't know if we're actually going to mention it. A beautiful Or Zarua. That the Or Zarua, one of the Rishonim, right? That Yitzchak Mivina. And that basically what happened is that he went and he actually saw that there was a person that he passed away. Yeah, and all of a sudden, somebody's coming to the Beit Knesset the next day, and he sees that the guy's there. So he's like, oh, well, the guy came back. But so he comes and he asks him, what are you doing? You have a beautiful crown. It's like made out of like different like leaves and this and that, but it looks like mamash, like a very beautiful. What's that exactly? He said, that was because I was singing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time. Which means that sometimes you had Amei Aratzot, right? I know Amei Aratzot that they didn't know they didn't know nothing. But they would come to the Beit Knesset and they would sing Pesuke Dezimra. They would sing the Zemirot. They would come there. And that, just for that in itself, that's what Rabbi Yosef is coming and he's saying. I don't know if he's going to bring it down. Maybe he will. So he says here, okay, what exactly is included in the term of Pesuke Dezimra? Rashi says it's two mizmorim, right? 148 and 150, okay? Which those are the two most important of the Halelukas, if you remember, right? So he says that Rabbi Turim defined it as the final 6 chapters of Tehillim, right? Beginning with 145, right? Which is Asher Shuvitecha. It doesn't actually start with Asher Shuvitecha, but that's what it is. Okay, 148. Look in the 148 in the bottom. According to Rashi, these 2 chapters have exalted status of being the pinnacle of all the praises contained in the book of Tehillim. Based on this, many Rishonim rule that if someone must omit part of the Pesuke Dezimra in order to recite the Hamidah, together with the Tzibur, he must make sure that these 2 chapters, he says it in order to fulfill the obligation of completing the Hallel. See more about this in the Maharsha's comments on Shabbat 118b, the Meshech Chochma, and the response to Tzitz Eliezer. To be sure, Rashi concurred with the ruling to recite all 6 chapters, beginning with Tila LeDavid, especially since that chapter has its own special status. In fact, the Chamim actually say in Mesechet Sofrim that we are obligated to recite all 6 chapters. Still, the 2 chapters, 148 and 150, have a higher status, and the term completing the Hallel applies to those chapters only. The Tanya Rabbati understood that the passage in a tractate in Sofrim clearly contradicts Rashi's opinion. So, okay, but meaning even Rashi agreed that you do say all of them, which that's what we do, but the other 2 have exalted status, and that's why in Siman Nun Bet, right? Which means in Siman Nun Bet 52, that's where we learn about the halachot if a person comes late to synagogue, right? I'm sure you guys never even heard of such a thing, so it doesn't even exist to learn that, that chapter. But just in case, right? That's where it's written the halachot we're supposed to do. So there it's written the entire concept. Okay, fine.
You sing as a shir.
So there's a support for this definition of Sechet Sofrim as a Shibolei Aleket brings down in the Beit Yosef, the end of Siman 50, which is pointed out. What about now when we're going to speak about, right, the entire concept? Remember that this is, by the way, the introduction for Siman Nun Aleph 51. Because we just finished Siman 50, Nun, and now we're starting Siman Nun Aleph. Okay, so reading the chapter 145 of Tehillim, the Gemara Berachot, Tavdal Mubet says, Rabbi Lazar says, Kol HaOmer Tila LeDavid 3 פעמים bechol yom uvtach lo shem ba. Anybody that says Tila LeDavid 3 times every single day is a certain to have Olam Haba. a prelude to the Amidah. The Gemara Masechet Berachot Daf Lamed Bet Amud Aleph says, whenever a person is going to say tefillah, he should begin with the praises of the Creator and then go to make his requests. זאת אומרת, אנחנו קודם כל משבחים לקדוש ברוך הוא, ואז אנחנו מבקשים ממנו דברים. Where's the ראיה? From Amidah. Amidah, you first have the first three berachot are called Birkot HaShevach, Chazak Baruch, and then you have all the other berachot in the middle, whether Tachonen and all those things, which are going to be the berachot that we're asking, berachot pratiyot that we're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for certain things, right? And this is based upon the pasuk that Moshe Rabbeinu comes and he says in Parashat Devarim, that it says, right, this is Beit Hanan. ויתחנן על השם בעת ההיא לאמור, השם אלוהיך כי לא לדרך השם יהיה בשמים הארץ, השם יעשה במעונותיך, בנה ויראה את הארץ הטובה, what does that mean? He comes and he prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, Hashem is our master. You have now begun to show your servant the greatness, your mighty hand, proving that there's no power over the heavens and the earth, or do anything comparable to your deeds and your might. And only afterwards he comes and he says, by the way, I want to go into Eretz Yisrael. I want, please allow me to cross over the Jordan, right over the river, to go into the Eretz Yisrael, to see the mountain and the Lebanon. Right? Lebanon was part of Eretz Yisrael. So Rav Amram Gaon wrote in his prayer book, the order for Mondays and Thursdays, the passage is the source for the institution of reciting Pesuke Dezimra before the Amidah prayer. It would be disrespectful to recite Pesuke Dezimra after Amidah, because it's wrong to offer praise only after making requests. Meaning, don't ask for something, and by the way, you know, you're incredible, you're that. No. First, you're going to come and you're going to do that. And afterwards, right, you're going to come and you're going to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for whatever you need. Uplifting your mood. The Gemara in Masechet Berachot of Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph says, people should not stand up and pray while they're depressed. Right? That means you're not allowed to lo mitoch hatzlut, lo mitoch right? He says, while feeling lazy. So we're talking about whether it's going to be the person's lazy, a person's stressed, after laughing, or after engaging conversation, after silly behavior, or after engaging worthless activity, they should stand up to pray while feeling, right, the simcha shel mitzvah. Meaning, lo mitoch no, none of these things, right? But simcha shel mitzvah. Now, the Rosh, he comes and he says that this is the reason for a custom to recite the Asher Yishuvatecha Pesuke Dezimra before the Amidah. By reciting these uplifting prayers, right, we can go on to pray when we have simcha shel mitzvah. We're happy. We just came, we said Asher Yishuvatecha. I'm sure a lot of people were happy because they wanted to check their bank accounts right after Asher. But we're happy. We come. We're joyful. We're this. You understand? So it all depends, right? That's what we're saying when he says Poteach Yedecha. So the Tur comes and he says all the above passages and sources. That's the reason why we say Pesuke Dezimra. Apparently, each source is not exclusive of the others. And Rav Zalman comes and he also said all these sources as well, which means it's not just one reason. There's a few reasons. So it's whether because first you have to praise, and then you thank the praise Hashem, and then you're going to ask him for your necessities. Or you want simcha shel mitzvah, so you first pray, and then you come and do that. Or because the entire concept that you want to be gomri ma'alel, and you're going to say this right beforehand. Fine. So now he comes and he says like that. Baruch Shaman Nishtabach. The Tur comes and he explains the Chachamim instituted a beracha before Pesuke Dezimra, which is Baruch Shaman, and beracha after Pesuke Dezimra, which is Yishtabach. According to some authorities, these blessings are intimately connected, as they're two parts of the same blessing, and therefore, if one did not say the beracha Baruch Shaman, he could not say Yishtabach. And if someone said Baruch Shaman and then he said it the entire Pesuke Dezimra, right? And he says, sorry, if someone skipped out Baruch Shaman and he said the entire Pesuke Dezimra, he cannot say either of the beracha as well. One more time, if you skip out, that's what we're trying to say here. If you skip out, right, that's what we're saying here. If it's two parts of the same, if you do not say Baruch Shaman, you can't say Yishtabach. So if you skip that, let's say you skip Baruch Shaman, and you did all of Pesuke Dezimra, and now you're by Yishtabach, so you can't say Yishtabach, because Yishtabach is the after blessing for the one before. So it's connected. Okay, this is explained below in Siman Nun Gimel Halachas Zayin, the Tola'at Yaakov, cited the Or Zerua, right, relating the Ashrei Anshe Knesset instituted the blessing Baruch Shaman as part of our Seder Tefillot. After its text came down written on a note that fell from Shamayim. The blessing contains how many otiyot? Mordechai. Kama tevot? Baruch Shaman. 87, right? Pei Zayin. Haz, right? Or Befe Amo, right? Befe, Bet, Pei, Hey. Bet is 2, Pe is 80, Hey is 5, so 87. Right? That's but for us, by the way, that's why when we have the minhag to do like Rabbi David Budarham and the Rambam, that we say the long Baruch Shaman on Shabbatot and Yamim Tovim, that's why we say Befi Amo. We don't say Befi Amo. The ones that they always do the short Baruch Shaman, right? That's according to them, it came down in a paper that fell down from heaven. So therefore, they always makbid, they always say befeh amor, because befeh is 87. So it's always that they're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu befeh with their mouths. But if we're doing the long Baruch Shamar, that's our minhag, like the Rambam, right? If you look in the Rambam has the text of Tefillah, and also Rabbi David Budaham. Both of them were Rishonim, and the majority of Tefillot are based upon Rabbi David Budaham, right? And the Rambam. So what happened was over there, he actually brings down Befi amor. And the reason why Befi was they don't have this concept of 87. It's longer than 87. So therefore they say Befi amor. That's what we do on the long Baruch Shamar. Take page, right? 199. Right, 199 on no 84 is the long Tachnunim. 199 in the bottom. These guys, they have me. They're even guests. Yeah, they have me. Yeah, that's a fine. So therefore, 199 in the bottom. So therefore, over there we do befiyamo. So it says over here that it's going to be 87 words, and that the number corresponds to the letters pe zayin, which is taz, fine gold. Okay. Since this blessing is so exalted, it's so holy, Anshei instructed us to stand up while we say it. By standing up, we intimate that this blessing corresponds to the supernal being referred to this verse, Serafim omdim ma'alo, which means that the Seraphim, which are the angels, are going to be standing up over it. Thus, the Torat Yaakov concluded the universal custom in Germany and France is to recite the blessing standing. So it's not only just in Germany and France, everybody stands up, we also stand up. Obviously, if a person's sick, so that's fine. But other than that, everyone stands up for Baruch Shamar. Nor so in the Talmud, but in the Gemara, it's actually brought down. So the blessing of Baruch Shamar is not mentioned anywhere in the Gemara. For this reason, the Pri Chadash wondered, how can the Geonim come and institute a bracha? Meaning, you cannot just invent brachot. Imagine right now, I just wanted to, I'm going to invent a bracha. Why am I inventing brachot? Well, there's no inventions here. The Rav Chida resolved this question, proving that this blessing was even before the Gemara, whereas it was actually written since it's mentioned the Zohar HaKadosh. The Rabbi Turim likewise cited also Sefer Hechalot. The Sefer Hechalot, it also says it contains 87 words. The author of the Sefer Hechalot is Rabbi Shmuel, right? One of the Asra Rugei Malchut. Right? By the way, this is the Sefer Hechalot that I told you, that I always tell you about to do with the 3 Sifrei Torah. That whenever you have a parasha, whenever you have a Shabbat, you have 3 Sifrei Torah, the Petichat Hechal is very, very important. Okay? That's Sefer Hechalot. So that's the Sefer of Rabbi Shmuel. We're talking about one of the Asara Rugei Malchut, right? Predating the Zohar by at least 2 generations. So imagine, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai were 2 generations after Rabbi Shmuel. Moreover, both the blessings of Baruch Shamar and Yishtabach are mentioned in the Yerushalmi. So therefore it is brought down. But Yerushalmi, that Rav Chida wrote, right? He comes and he wrote more about this in the Machzik Beracha. As the Tolat Yaakov mentioned, the blessed Baruch Shamar was into by Shekeret Gedolah, and the Pri Megadim pointed this out as well. The Mishnah Berurah rule that since the blessing of Baruch Shamar is not mentioned at all in the Gemara, it is still permissible to interrupt it and respond amen to other blessings, even in the middle of the Beracha. But other Achronim rule that it's forbidden to interrupt it for such a purpose, arguing that Baruch Shamar predates the Talmud and has the full status of a Beracha. See below Halacha 15 in the footnote there, which means basically Machlok and Mishnah Berurah and other poskim, are you allowed to stop in the middle of the Baruch Shamar to answer for other things? So according to the Mishnah Berurah, since there's no Mekor in the Talmud, yes, and according to the Gemara, not the Gemara, according to the other poskim, you're not allowed to. This, by the way, is very, very important. Another place where we see this concept is Shemeh Dekucha Berichu. Do you know we answer Amen in Kaddish? Ashkenazim, after Shemeh Dekucha Berichu, what did they answer? Berichu, right? So it's actually brought down something very, very interesting. He comes and he says like this. He says, right, that Rav Ben Zion speaks about this. He says, what happens if I'm in the middle of answering Amen Shemeh Rabban, and they get to Shemeh Dekucha Berichu? Do I have to answer Berichu, or I just continue my Amen Yashmer Rabba? So he comes and he says the fact that the Kucha Berichu is not Mivusas in the Gemara that you answer Amen, and the proof is that they don't answer Amen there. Ashkenazim answer Berichu, they don't answer Amen there, so you don't stop. You continue Amen Yashmer Rabba. You don't stop. So the same thing, anything which does not have a source in the Talmud, that's what we're trying to say here. So therefore, you could stop it. You're not going to, meaning you're not going to stop in the middle to start answering for it. So here is the exact opposite way around. Here, that since Baruch Shamar does not have a source in the Gemara, so you could stop in the middle to answer a beracha. So, for example, I come and I make beracha. You would come in the middle of Baruch Shamar, you would answer according to the Mishnah Berurah. Obviously, not according to the poskim and Sfaradim, but we're going to learn that later on in Halacha 15. Okay? Yeah, we don't answer. In place, it depends where the truth is. There's the before beracha and the middle of the beracha. We're going to see afterwards. In place of meditating before the Amidah, yeah, he comes and he says like this. Yeah, he comes and he says, right? Yeah, he says like this. He says the Sefer HaManhig. Yeah, he comes and he says the following. Okay, he forwarded the idea that we say Pesuke Dezimra before the Amidah as a way of following the instructions to praise God before praying for our needs. He connected the concept to the Mishnah Berachot, testifying that the great men of the early times used to spend an hour meditating to concentrate their minds in their the Father of Heaven, and only then offer their prayers. That hour of meditation was used to ponder the greatness of God in the ways that Pesuke Dezimra describes, and we follow their example by reciting Pesuke Dezimra. See more about this in the footnotes on the Keter edition of Yafel Alev Siman Tzadik Gim. Okay, additional biblical passages. There's more Pesukim as well. The core of Pesuke Dezimra consists of 6 Pirkei Tehillim, 145 to 150. So that's 6. You're starting with Tehillah David until Kol HaNeshamat Aliyah at the end, right? And then it says, besides that, immediately after Baruch Shamar, we also say Mizmor LeTodah, and the passage of Yichavod, as explained below in Halachot 51 to 55. After Pesuke Dezimra, before Yishtabach, we also say Baruch Hashem Leolam, Vayvarech David, and Az Yashim Moshe, and this is going to be explained later on in Halachot 69 to 79. Okay, with this we conclude.